Welcome to Marbin Daily Tips, Noodles, and Shreddin. I guess that was the noodles or the Shreddin. Alrighty, so this is episode 5. You all better take a deep breath on these because we're going on the road in a couple of days, and there's not gonna be tips, noodles, and shredding for a little bit. But for now, let's celebrate. All right, so. A lot of people have wrote me after lesson. I know lesson number 4 was not really a lesson, was more like a Zen lecture about music. But I believe in that stuff, and I felt like it needed to be said. Lesson number 5, this one. We're going to talk about harmony. And we left off talking about what scales are, and then a little bit about like the modal approach. And now we're going to talk about functional harmony. Basically, how to know what to play over what, how keys work, how we make up chords, all that good stuff. So, let's talk about this. I'm going to turn up the mic. I think you can hear me better now. Okay, good. All right. So really, we have the major scale. That's a good place to start. Now, a good thing to know when people say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, they mean basically the intervals of the major scale relative to the root. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's in C. That's C major. Okay? So flat 2 being right there, flat 3 being there, if that's 1. 1, flat 2, 2, flat 3, 3, 4, flat 5, 5, flat 6, 6, flat 7, 7, 1. Those are 12 notes. Cool. Basic. Now, to get to the chords that come out of the major scale, what we do is we stack thirds. What's that mean? We take a third from the root, and then a third from the third. Okay, but whatever's inside the scale. So the only notes in the scale in C major, this could be in any key, but we're doing it in C for simplicity's sake, is we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we go and we take the 1, the 3, and the 5. That gives me a C major triad, 1, 3, 5. Now we do the same thing starting on the next note, on D. Okay, but we don't take a third from D, a major third. We take the third that's in the scale. So F is the fourth of the scale relative to C, but relative to D, it's D's minor third. And then the fifth is A. When we go to E, that gives me a D minor triad. That's what we call 1 major, 2 minor. When we build it on E, we get E minor. On F, we get F major. On G, we get G major. On A, we get A minor. On B, we get B diminished. On C, we get C. The most amazing thing about studying harmony in college is how the fuck they managed to spread it over 4 years. I just don't get it. It's like 2 weeks of studying. Okay, so that's basically major scale harmony. That's all the Taylor Swift songs, you know. You know what I mean? Why? Because when people say 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord, 6 chord, what they mean is like if you're in a key in C, you have C, go to the 4 chord would be the chord built on the 4th degree, which is F. 5 chord is G. Okay? Now, 6 chord is A minor. If you add the 7th, if you stack another third, you get the 7 chords. Okay? So a third from C is E, a third from E is G, a third from G is B. And then you get this chord. That's C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G 7, A minor 7, and B minor 7 flat 5. Okay? Y minor 7 flat 5, 1 flat 3 flat 5, and flat 7. Now, how do we get outside of the scale? What if music was just in one key, all the melodies would just come out of C major, and all the chords would be either one of those 7 chords: C, D minor, E minor, F, G, 7, B half, A minor 7, B half diminished. Half diminished is another word for minor 7 flat 5. So the next degree in tension is secondary dominant. Now, a lot of you don't know this. Those of you who do, you can skip it, or you probably should listen, because I explain things kind of simply, and a lot of people have misconceptions about things. Why is it called secondary dominant? There's only one dominant chord that comes out of a major scale. It's built on the 5th degree. If I'm in C, I have G. G is the dominant chord. Why do they call it dominant? Between the 3rd and the 7th of G, here's the 7th F, and here's the 3rd B, we have a tritone. This sound. To resolve that, when the 5 chord resolves to the 1 chord, I have this sound. It's a cadence. Why is it a cadence? I have a very tense, dissonant sound of a tritone resolving to a 6th. So the flatted 7th of G resolves to the 3rd of C, and the 3rd of G resolves to the root. Now, secondary dominance is when I take every note of the C major scale and I potentially build a dominant chord on it that's meant to resolve up a 4th or down a 5th. You see, the big resolution, the point of tension in the scale that resolves to a relaxation, the big cadence in a major scale is going from the 5 chord to the 1 chord. So secondary, that's the primary dominant. Secondary dominance is when I do that to create tension to go into any of the other chords in the key. So this is the 5 chord going to the 1 chord. A7 is the 5 of 2. Why? If I do this built on A and then I resolve to D minor, to do that, instead of playing the chord that comes out of stacking thirds on A, which is A minor, I change it to a major chord, right? I change it to A7. So it's A minor 7 if I stack chords, and if I change the 3rd to a major 3rd, I add a C sharp instead of a C. That's it's called 5 of 2. It's the secondary dominant leading to D minor. If I do it to the 3 chord, which is E minor, is the minor 3 chord or 3 minor chord in the key, I have B7 leading to E minor. C7 is 5 of 4. D7 is 5 of 5. And E7 is 5 of 6. Again, primary dominant. 5 of 2, 5 of 3, 5 of 4, 5 of 5, 5 of 6. I don't have a 5 of 7. 7 is not a chord, since it's a half diminished chord, it's not a stable chord. These things work when you resolve to major or minor chords. This is a diminished type chord, so it's not gonna work. Okay, but what's happening here scale-wise? Now this is the interesting thing. When I have a chord, some sort of dominant chord resolving to a major chord, the mode I use over that is mixolydian. So over the primary dominant, I'm using G mixolydian to resolve to C Ionian, same scale. It's C to C, right? So that was the sound of a G7 resolving to a C major. Now, the 5 of 2, this is the interesting thing. I play the 5th mode of the harmonic minor that it's going to. Okay, so basically it's going to a D minor. So I play D harmonic minor on it. The 5th mode of D harmonic minor starts on A. If I analyze it in relation to A, I have root, flat 9, flat 2, same thing, 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, and root. minor, since I'm in the key of C, I'm playing Dorian, which is like C major, or the C major scale. So here's the sound of the secondary dominant. Resolving. Now here's 5 of 3, B7. So on 5 of 3, it's resolving to a minor chord. So again, it's going to be harmonic minor, but it's going to be E harmonic minor. Okay? So again. Okay, but it's when I'm resolving to E Phrygian because it's still a part of it. That's actually a tricky chord to play on, even in jazz, because you have 2 avoid notes. Like we said, avoid notes. Oh, so after I released the thing when I talked about avoid notes, I got a message from Danny Markovich, who is an extremely honest person, and basically wrote me on Facebook like, "You're wrong. You're spreading like this wrong information on Facebook." And he was right. I was wrong because I didn't tell you that on dominant chords, especially dominant chords resolving to minor chords, the flat 9 and the flat 13 aren't avoid notes. They're actually very good sounds, especially in jazz. You want to linger on them. So when you're playing this harmonic minor sound, 5th mode of harmonic minor over like the B7, the flat 9's a great sound. Because when you resolve it, it resolves to a chord tone nicely on the E minor. But the E minor has a flat 13 and a flat 9 on it because it's Phrygian. So you have to be careful of those. They sound weird if you don't mistreat them. Next secondary dominant, 5 of 4, C7 to F. So you play Mixolydian, but you play C Mixolydian. Okay, that's like playing F major over that chord. But when you get to F, you play F Lydian because it's the 4th degree of C. So again. Next one, 5 of 5, D7 to C to D7 to G7. On D7 you play D Mixolydian, which is like playing G major. On G you play G Mixolydian because that's like playing C major, and it's the 5 chord in the key. So last one, E7, you play A harmonic minor on the E7. Then when you get to A minor, you play A Aeolian, like C major. So now, when we analyze a song like All of Me, I talked about All of Me before. That's a great example song because there's only one chord that's not either from the scale or a secondary dominant in that whole song. Think about it like this. We have C major, 1, going to E7, 5 of 6. Then we have A7, 5 of 2. Then we have D minor, 2 minor. So what am I playing? I'm playing Ionian. On the E7, it's resolving to A minor, so I'm playing A harmonic minor. On the A7, it's resolving to D minor, so I'm playing D harmonic minor. Then I'm playing Dorian. Then it goes to E7 again, A harmonic minor. Then it goes to A minor. Now, here some people will play Aeolian because it's a part of the key, but it's also going to D7, the next chord. When you have 2 5s, since the next chord is the D7, you're going to play D Mixolydian on because it's 5 of 5. Then you can play Dorian on the A. So really here it's a choice. I probably would play A Dorian because to me those two are kind of related in sound. And then the last part of the first ending is a 2-5-1. 2-5-1. That's 2-5-1 in the key. 2 minor, 5-1. So that's how I analyze this song. So I'm playing C Ionian, A harmonic minor on the 5 of 6, 5 of 2, D harmonic minor, D Dorian on D. Then I'm playing again A harmonic minor on E7. Then I'm playing A Dorian. Then G on D7, D Mixolydian, 5 of 5. Then G7, just G Mixolydian. C Ionian again. A harmonic minor. Then A7, D harmonic minor. D Dorian. Now the second ending has F major, which is Lydian, in the key, so it's like C major. Then F minor. This chord is modal interchange. It's a different subject, we'll get to it, but if you have it's a 4 minor chord, like you have in Popala. That sound. I think the Eels have a song like that. I don't know how I know that. So on the 4 minor, you play melodic minor. That's really the sound. So again, from the F major to F minor, you play F Lydian to F melodic minor. F melodic minor being 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's the sound of this. Hear that? Lydian, melodic minor. And then again, C, it's Ionian, A7, D harmonic minor, then 2-5-1, all C major. Cool. So let me just run through that song real quick. So Ionian, no, I won't say it, but like C. That's one chorus of it, just playing really in. Playing in is the shit. Please play in. A lot of crazy fuckers play out all the time, and it's weird. Stop doing that. All right. So that's how I think about secondary dominance. There are only two other types of chords that function in a key. Okay, and maybe we'll break. Well. The first one is diminished chords. Now, this is the thing that 90% of jazz people I've met play wrong shit on. Because they do it because I think in the Jamie Aebersold book there's like a scale thesaurus on the first page, and there's a thing called the diminished scale. And they think you need to play the diminished scale on diminished chords. And it's partially true, but it's true in kind of one instance when you have a certain type of chord. But the rest of the time you actually play harmonic minor on diminished chords. Now what do I mean? Check this out. If I'm in the key of C, we said I have C major. Now the 5 of 2 is A7. Now, if I play flat 2 diminished, you see a lot of people use this progression: C sharp diminished, A or D minor. And it functions in the same way that C, A7, D minor functions. It pulls to that chord. If you actually construct the 4-part harmonies out of the harmonic minor scale, then the 7th degree is a diminished 7 chord. And those diminished passing chords that lead into the chords of the major scale all come from harmonic minor scales. Now, and the reason that's helpful is if you have a standard and you see a progression like C, C sharp diminished, D minor, D sharp diminished, E minor. On the C sharp and on the D sharp, you don't play the diminished scale. You play it as if it was secondary dominance. You play the harmonic minor thing. That's the sound. So that sound as opposed to that one. It works, you know, it has, again, it's built around the same chord, but it puts some unnecessary tensions in there that kind of make it sound, to my ear, a little bit too dissonant. Okay? Now, when do you use the diminished scale? When you have a diminished chord that's built on the root, flatted third, sharp four. Okay? Or flatted fifth, however you want to say. So in jazz, you see it like a lot of times in any jazz blues, the chord in measure 6 after the 4 chord. Like let's say I'm in C, so I have 1, 2, 3. The 4 chord, 1 chord, 1 chord, 4 chord, and here flat 5 diminished or sharp 4 diminished, however you want to think about it. Measure 6 of the blues. So here, that's the sound. That's really the full sound of that chord. But on just on passing diminished chords that are leading to chords in the major scale, you don't do it. You use secondary dominants. You treat them as if they were secondary dominants. So basically, if you have C sharp diminished, you think about the harmonic minor scale that starts a step or a half step up, right? So on this, if I'm F C to C sharp diminished, I play D harmonic minor. If I have E flat diminished, I play E harmonic minor. So that's how that. All right, I don't want to give you information overload here, so this will be it for this one. In the next one, I'll talk about subdominance and about modal interchange, and also about what happens 90% of the time when you're reading through charts and how do you choose what to do over everything except for the ones we just discussed. But the thing to take away from this is that you know that if you can analyze the chord as a part of the key, basically if it's C and it's D minor, if you're in the key of C and it's D minor, E minor, F, G, A, B, you play a C major scale over that stuff. And if it's an A7 or B7, A7 you play D harmonic minor, B7 you play E harmonic minor, you know, basically leading to a minor chord, you use whatever chord you're resolving to's harmonic minor. Leading to a major chord, it's going to be the major key that you go into. But then when you get there, it's going to be whatever it is in the key you're in. I'm sure some of you are going to have questions. Write the questions. I'll answer the questions. Right on. I'm Danny Rabin. bandsintown.com/Marbin. If you guys are feeling grateful and indebted, the best thing to do is come to shows and buy albums. Support Marbin, and we love you guys, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.